Live. What's going on? I hope you like the graphics. Graphics? Yes, those. Wow, what a night. So I'm gonna do a nighttime show here. This is After Hours with Adam, with AB, with me. If you've read my book or seen my last 10 episodes in the last season, it's a documentary, it's a training on generative AI for those on the growth side of the business. I'm now working on a book called The Generative Executive Officer, and I will show just a little snapshot of this because I got to give context to why I'm doing this show. But yeah, after writing this other book, you can read the backstory, but I did a show here, a book there, and that was a year ago after working a year with AI. And then a year later, I'm working on this book. And a lot of, and by the way, I've got all of the Legos for this book. Like, yeah, I could handwrite it, and the last one was all diagrams, but what I want to do here is I want to show you how I write the book with AI. And then, like, my last book is already an AI. I mean, you can ask my book questions. If you go to my website, where is it? If you go to my website, if you go down here, this is a generative AI bot based on my last book and show. And you can ask it anything, and it'll answer just as good, if not better, than me. I've tested the hell out of it. In any event, yeah, so I've been, this show is headed in the direction of, teaching people about AI while transforming the mindset of the CEO, because like your concept of what a firm is gone. Like whatever you thought you knew what a firm was, like a business. And I don't care if you're top of the world in terms of size or small, only the leading thinkers get this. This is why the innovators win. And in this market, the speed and the scale of winning is unprecedented. Unprecedented. I've been in AI 14 years. I've been in software almost 30. Anyway, so yeah, so I'm doing a show tonight after working on this last week. That's my daytime show. If you're going to talk about a generative executive officer, the prototype right now, I mean, look, there's a lot of great leaders out there. I've got a lot of respect for many, many CEOs, especially if they're in the AI businesses, especially if they're multi-time software entrepreneurs. And Elon's not perfect, but I tell you what, he has reinvented government. If you take a step back, and I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, all I'm saying is nowhere in the world could you point to a generatively led government until now. You don't think he's got Grok in there with those youngsters? Of course. How do you think they're chewing through this so fast? It's like, here's a data file. This is literally some of the stuff the smart kids are doing as far as this AI goes. Here's the data model. I wouldn't be surprised if they're talking to Grok. In fact, let's bring Grok up and do this. What I want to do in this show is I want to show, and I knew I'd get too excited at this and keep going, but I want to show you how I think generative AI was used in Donald Trump's speech earlier tonight. I mean, again, I don't care what side of the aisle you are on. Why is this off now? Like, you got to take a step back, just like a real big step back. And If you look at this from multi-decade perspective, and then you look at this from 1 decade, and then you look at it from half a decade, if you stretch out what the American government has done over time, and you take a snapshot of what's happened leading up to Trump, and I'll say strongly, I wish there were some things they would do to make it more emotionally easy for people that are on the other side of the aisle. I don't think it's possible. I really don't. What I do believe tonight, and I love all my friends and coworkers around the world. I've had so many great people that I've met in my life. But I'll give you the view real quick as we're talking about generative AI. Yeah, this is my background, always into business, did all this stuff, automated myself out of a job somewhere in here. Yes, you heard that right. I used AI and automated my job. And I had done it once without the new AI before. So that's twice. Somehow I have automated myself out of a job. And everyone's going to go through it. Yeehaw. Fun times. Yeah, I'm going to be real. This show is real. Everybody's like, oh no, it's just going to augment you. That's bullshit. A lot of fucking people are going to get fired. A lot. And it's going to happen fast. The good news is America is going to be on the forefront of it. The bad news is it's going to hurt. I am certain of it. You know why? Because when I automated myself out of my last job, I had not a conniption fit. Well, I had an existential crisis when AI automates you. When you're like, oh my God, I could teach somebody to do this and it could do my job or it could do their job. And you look around and you go, a lot of people got this job. Something ain't going to go right. So anyway, here I am. There's a couple of things I want to do in this show. The daytime's a little more serious. The nighttime is a little bit more flexible. But I'm always talking about generative AI, leadership, and humanity, and where the executive C-suite is going to have to change, and all the people and the process and the technology that's going to have to change. If this represents what a CEO or any leader of an organization is managing in terms of humans, then there's some process and there's some technology. There's some other pieces there, but there's like 6, 7 core pieces: people, process, technology, policy, information, communications, energy. There's a map of all the actual things, like first principles things. But this was from one of the best leaders in the world, multi-unicorn CEO, who just made it simple. This has got to change, right? And so when you look at an organization, and it's like, let me see if I can draw this here. When you look at an organization, where's the draw tool? I'm just going to highlight this. When you look at an organization and it's like, now I just need this person and a couple of these people. Yeah, and that one. And then maybe I need a little scattering of you here, and I'll just run this business on AI. That is absolutely doable. It is happening right now. There are examples of it you can point in real life. And there's many famous sayings about when something changes, you better get with the program. So pick whichever one you want. But I'm going to talk about this in government. And so if before, you were one person and you could do the work of 3 people, well, if you were in a department of 3 people, you didn't need the other ones. I'm sorry to be so harsh, but I've got to press the point about this existential crisis. This is what's going to happen psychologically, neuropsychologically. I've been studying this I wanted to kill myself in 2010. That led me to neuropsychology, and I haven't stopped studying it because there's just so much stress on earth. I'm starting a charity in this area, but to the point, when you look at an organization and you manage 5 people or 10 people or 100 people, there is going to be a time in the very near future where you don't need 25% of them, then you don't need 50%, then you don't need 75%. This is reality. And I'm saying this because it's tough. And I hear too many people tiptoe around it and they put it off. And it's like, no, I'm telling you, look at Klarna's case study. There are last year, it was like, oh, we don't know, we failed. It's the same story that always happens with innovation. And everyone that's a software innovator knows it. And they're like, look at that. Just wait. Yeah, keep watching. And so here we are. Keep watching. Let me get rid of this draw thing. I'll keep that. Anyway, so you'll have to watch the last show, but I'm explaining really how profound the decisions are here in this new world. An analogy to use before I get to the government, because this is so profound. If you think about, as you go up the chain of business, how many decisions there are, the scope of the decisions have more impact, right? As you go up, decisions down here have impact for maybe one or a few people, and then you go up and it's like impact on everything, right? So right now, if you're the head of a company, if you're the head of a government organization and you need to become a generative leader, right? Generative leadership. And especially if you actually give a shit about your employees, with which way too many of you did not set a good example of that. I'm sorry. Be grateful every day you're alive and be kind to your employees. All right. If you're not doing that, you're kind of a dick. So at the late night, I'm just going to tell it like it is. But my point on this slide is if you were making decisions upstairs before and you thought you had a 10 or an 100x impact on the whole company by one of your major decisions, which you would, your decisions are going to now get even broader, because when AI is all in the layers and you decide something, it is going to have a profound and immediate impact on your business. And you're going to have to, whoa, don't do that. When customer experience is completely run, and this has been my whole life, almost 30 years in customer experience, my absolute number one favorite part of AI analytics and generative AI is behavioral and perceptual analytics. It's a giddy up area for me. I find it fascinating, and we're gonna do deep profiling before I jump off this recording. We're gonna do deep profiling on Trump and on this whole thing, so you can see just how powerful generative AI is. All right, super excited about this show. Anyway, so your decisions as an executive are like, you almost got to imagine it like this. If you're a CEO, sorry, I got an itch. If you're a CEO, and today I want you to imagine yourself. Yes, let's take the glasses off for a minute. I want you to sit and imagine yourself, close your eyes. You're sitting at the conference room table. You're all in person. You're sitting at the conference room table. All right. You look around, there's usually 10 friendly faces. Let's say there's 8 plus you. All right. There's 10 friendly faces, and I'm sorry, 8 plus you is 9. And you look around and you got people there in front of you, right? There's 8 other people. Okay. Now I want you to fast forward to next year or faster. You look around and there's 3 people, you and 2 other people it takes to run the company. All right. Now imagine that. So call BS on that. Now imagine that at every layer of your organization. You remember those Zoom calls with 30 people on them? Now they're going to have 3. Let me say that again. Before, after. Before generative AI, after generative AI. Before, you're on Zoom calls with somewhere between 3, 13, and 30 people on a regular basis all day long. Let's just say you're on 5 calls a day with an average of 20 people. Or let's just say you're on a call with 20 people. All right, I'm complicating it too much, but just imagine when you have to talk to 5 people on a call, you really won't need to, because your bots are going to do that work for you. So the whole concept of management has to change. Everything we knew about management in the past does not apply anymore. I've been studying leadership since I was a kid, got interested in it at like 14 years old, family of entrepreneurs, blah, blah, blah. There's nothing about right now. Organizations are like, the biggest cost is humans. What happens when that changes dramatically? What happens when every person in your organization literally has Elon Musk in their pocket? And I'm going to show you this. So we're in a absolutely crazy world. I'm not a sky is falling kind of guy, but I already have a lot of friends who are going through this craziness in the job market. They've been in software forever, and it's kind of a real pain in the ass. Right now, the whole LinkedIn system isn't working really for anyone. I'd love to reinvent those guys. Yeah, if you want to throw money at that problem, I've been thinking about a long time. However, here's what I want to explain. All right, so what we're going to do for the rest of this, and I want to make sure, what time is it? I don't want to stay up too late on this. Okay, I got about 10 minutes, I think. What time is it? 16. All right, good. That's perfect. All right, so the Doge Father. All right, so here's what I'll say about the politics that happened tonight, the U.S. politics. One, I think you can tell a lot about people's IQ and their emotional intelligence, particularly based on how they interact and discuss politics. And so if a lot of times IQ, it's about analytical, it's about looking for different things, it's about understanding the math, it's about understanding why does it work this way, how can we get it to do, it's very analytical. And it shows that you're able to think about things from different perspectives. And then that's where emotional intelligence comes up, right? If you know how you're going to make somebody feel when you open your mouth and say certain words, then you are emotionally intelligent, right? And so, as somebody who's probably biggest analytical AI, generative AI expertise is around behavioral analytics, neuropsychology, CRM, customer intelligence, that kind of stuff with AI. I look at the party line right now and I'm like, huh, look at that. Wow. It's almost like I'm at a zoo or something. And I'm like, look, the room, we got a bunch of, elephants in the room, or monkeys, or, wildebeest. I don't know, but there's a bunch of people around here. And I feel like those ones are not, they're not as bright. I don't get it, because they are capable, but it's just, it's become to where it's not even an intelligent discussion. It's purely running on emotion, and it doesn't make sense. And then I finally connected with it from a psychology viewpoint, and that is, it's like a religious war. I talked to a few friends of mine today who, very wealthy, very smart, not outlandishly crazy with politics or anything. But it's like, why are people acting this way? They asked me that. I think it was 3 people today. Why do you think people are acting this way? And I'm like, it's almost a religious thing. When you are so assigned to a God and you believe, and that could be Jesus or that could be uh, Buddha, it could be Muhammad, it could be Moses, it could be um, Ganesha, it doesn't matter. But if you go along and you tell somebody your God is completely wrong and you're completely wrong, your God is a failure. All right. That's like saying your country is the way you think about this country is wrong. And the way you think about this country is a failure. And if you approach people that way, saying the way you think is a failure, it's not going to help unify us. And I'm very big on unification. I know the behavioral analytics and AI. I see the leadership. I'm understanding where humanity fits all of this. I've finally spent enough time on Earth to really understand that, I think. But behaviorally, if you believe in Jesus or whatever, just pick a name or nothing. The point is, let's not get hung up on that. The point is, if you tell somebody your God is wrong and everything you believe about your God is wrong, that is one of the most aggressive things you can say to somebody. Because as humans, we formed in groups. This is soldered into the DNA of the human brain. Right? And at some point governments formed, right? And you see all the history and all this stuff. But it is literally like telling somebody their God is dead. It's like your vision of how this country should be managed to be good for everyone is so wrong and fucked up and nasty that everyone thinks you're a retard, right? So regardless of what you say to somebody who's in that kind of hardcore Democrat area, there's just a group of people that have no malleability, no flexibility there. And then there's some people that do. And so this is one thing about what I saw tonight, but it's so critical because it's going to advance the generative executive officer agenda in a big way. And this is what my book's about. Is where are leaders using generative AI to really change things drastically. And it hit me tonight. People are like, Elon, this product or this company. He's like, yo, I make markets. I make new industries. Like, get off my back with this or that product. When I want to create something, you will have never been able to imagine it before in your life. He's a repeat, he does that again and again. He just operates at a much higher level. Anyway, when you drop the IQ down, it just is like, ugh. Anyway, so AI, the president, Elon, politics. I just want to close off on the politics. I think after tonight, because not only have I never seen, and I've been an American, my whole life, since day one. The second generation immigrants. But the thing about what happened tonight is there's never been a presidential address like that. Not one. Not in the history of the United States. I've never, ever, ever heard, saw referenced, discussed, mentioned anywhere in my life. And I'm not a huge politics guy, but I love to learn. It's just nothing happened like this. Like, I wonder, I mean, it's very possible he hired I bet he did. I'm sure he hired high-end writers. Yeah, as I think through this, because he told, like, when you write a movie script or you write any kind of speech, there's elements that are critical to grab and keep the audience, right? These are not questions. Like, we know as human race how to create speeches that move people for all different types of situations, right? So this becomes a creative exercise in how you pull it together and how you tell a story. And it needs to be analyzed over and over and over. This will go down in history without question, whether you like it or not. Love Trump or hate him. Um, and I think at the end of the day, what's going to happen is there's a group of Democrats. If this is the group of Democrats, there's a bunch of them that were kind of on the fence, and now they're like, I can't believe I trusted you. This is stupid. That makes way more sense. I've already heard from them. And then there's a group of Republicans that were kind of like, I don't want to. I'm too busy. I'm a Republican, and I know it's going to impact me. But they're not like, hoo ha. And all those folks, I heard from some of those tonight too. They're all like, what? That's what we voted for? That's fucking awesome. So I do see the tides shifting quite a bit more from this. And I wouldn't even call Trump a Republican at this point. I mean, this is really a form of government in the Republican Party in the United States that I've never seen before. This is radically different. It's almost like he's taken best practices of different presidents, and I look, before I get behind anything, I've knocked holes in it, and I still have issues with some of the way he handles things. I think particularly right now, emotionally, the problem right now is emotional resistance. The thing that's getting in his way the most is emotional resistance. And if you can deal with the emotional resistance, which is changing somebody's religion, then that greases the skids. Anyway, so look, after I got off that show and took a break, I got onto X. Let me just refresh. And I'm going to show you what's possible now before I finish up, because I got about 3 minutes left. All right. So, Senator, if you approve of Doge, who is this girl? Senator from Michigan. She's got a lot of followers. Wow. I'm very curious now, but I'm not going to go there. Oh, wow. That's interesting. So look, Elon called it the town square. In fact, you can't trust everyone 100%, but with Elon, the guy's just proved again and again and again in his word, in his deed, in his standing up for what's right, in his desire to help his fellow humans. He wakes up every day so motivated to start a new colony on Mars in case the human race does something stupid on Earth. He cares. Now, if you're goofing around at a government office and you're not coming in, you don't have time for that. And frankly, that's one of the problems with the government. The waste, I feel like I have been working, it's like 3 months out of a year, I basically pay taxes. Like all of my income. I mean, obviously they take it out every paycheck, but generally speaking, if you add it all up, a quarter to a third goes in U.S. taxes. So if you look at that over 12 months, it's either 3 or 4 months. All of your income for 3 to 4 months goes to the government. All right. Every week you work, 25 to 33% of that week goes to the government. Every day, every hour you work, 15 minutes, No. This is going to be crazy. It's something like between 15 and 30 minutes. That's like 20 minutes. 20 minutes of every hour. Jeez. Yeah, so it's about 15 minutes. So think about it this way. Every 15 minutes, every hour you work, 15 minutes you just work for the government. Think about that. It's you're working January, February, and March for the United States government because that income has to go from the taxpayers to the government. Right. So if you've had a 20-year career, and let's say you've done well, so that's 4 months times 20, that's 80 months of your life. Is that right? Let's do this again. If you've worked 20 years and you've been in the tax bracket where 4 months a year go to the government, so that means you'd be paying like 33%. So you've been making 120 plus, something like that. You're going to work those 3 months. It just blows my mind. 4 months, sorry. So 20 times 4 is 80. So that's 80 months. In a 20-year career, you've spent 80 months of your life, which is like 15 years, something like that. Yeah. 80 months. 80 months. No, I got that wrong. Hey, Google. No, hey, Siri. What's 80 divided by 12? Can't think it's
80 divided by 12 is approximately 6.6667.
Yeah, so in 20 years.
80 divided by 12 is approximately 6.67.
Thanks. Love you. But think about this. So the way I look at this is I've spent almost 7 years of my life in a 20-year career, and I'm a little older, but 7 years of my life's work, the money I made for 7 years goes to the government. And over those 20 years, guess how much of that was stolen with fraud or abuse or waste? For any American that thinks through this, it will make you hotter than the 4th of July hot dog on a barbecue. Oh, it'll get you going to think about all those people in the government that were taking. Many of them had no idea what was happening. But you got to step back and look at the bigger picture, because it's absurd. It's so absurd. The cognitive biases creep in. And because we want to protect our country, we want to protect our party, what happens is cortisol gets released from the brain, and then forget about it. You're limbic, your lights out, your fear, flee, fight, fawn, you're frozen. All right. Once you trigger somebody in a political conversation. So I hope I haven't. I hope I've been a reasonable voice, but that's what I see has happened. And yeah, so what I want to show you now is just what the power of Grok is. So keep in mind, we've got one of the world's greatest, and I'm going to just blow this up and get off screen here for a minute because I want to zoom in so you can see it. Boop. All right. And I really do want to finish up soon. All right. So what you've got is, wrong thing. So what you've got is this Grok here. So I want you to do a deep search. Yeah, we're going to do think in a second. So what I want to do here is, what can you tell me about the speech Trump just just gave to Congress. So not all AI have real-time data. So let's see how current this is. Okay. Okay. So Twitter, X, so Grok already has real-time information, right? And it combines web crawling with posts on Grok. And there's AI all behind this to optimize this. And most importantly, one of the things you have to pay attention to when you listen to Musk is the meaning behind what he says and the context behind what he says. And when he was asked about the architecture and the features, the capabilities, the benefits, what was so important about X that he applied, he said the truth. He said, I designed everything to seek the truth. And when Elon decides there's a key feature that changes the game, he's got a radically good track record, right? And this, I'll tell you, in the past 2 years, 14 years in AI, past 2 years in generative AI, this is a game changer because the hardest thing has been to find the source of truth. All right, so here's what just happened. All right, we got an update. Here's the theme of the speech. Yep, government efficiency. Okay, so yeah, foreign policy. There was a lot more there, but wow. Okay, so here's very basic behavioral profiling. All right, so first I need to give it a role. You are an expert in behavioral psychology and analytics. Which I'm basically saying to act like, no, you are a mix. This is important, the role, a mix, not a mic, a mix. You're a mix of experts in behavioral psychology and analytics with notorious understanding of artificial intelligence and political communications. All right. So let me stop here for a second. So why did I type that in? Well, personalization goes two ways. Personalization goes for personalizing it for someone else, but it also goes to personalizing it for yourself. And this is a huge different way to look at things. Really important. Most people think the web is great at telling things. And I've said this for 25 plus years. The web is great at listening. It's probably even better at listening in many cases, in any event. So I'm telling it the role. I want to hear its feedback based on what it just said in the world. And you can see right here, explain the economic policy details and compare with Biden's speeches. So already, this is way smarter options. It's getting somebody to look for real information and do a comparison, right? So I don't think there's somebody who has decided that button. It's an AI. And I believe this feature, if it does what he says, is that it says, what would be the truest things people should learn as accurate information based on the above? And then you can ask it, show me the opposite view, right? So here's what I want to do. I want to say, Grok, You're a mix of experts in behavioral psychology and analytics. So I want them to have a technical bent. And yeah, in so many words, how would you describe the Republican view of the speech, and B, the Democratic view? And by the way, if you're a CEO and you're hanging on, you can also do this with the other CEOs you can compete with. I did an analysis on Putin a couple of months back, and there's a guy in military intelligence I was telling him about, and he was blown away. He was like, "You need to go talk to the army about that." I was like, "Really?" Yeah. When you take like 10 pages of behavioral questions about somebody with their background and all this, you get right inside their brain. You really do. And I'll show you right now. So you're a mix of experts in behavioral psychology analytics with a notorious understanding. I could have said something else besides notorious. Notorious understanding. I'm also going to say you are a influencer around the world. Okay. I almost said you're also friends with Huberman. If you don't know that guy, look up Huberman Labs. In so many words, how would you describe, that's just for fun. So many words, how would you describe A, the Republican view of the speech, and B, the Democratic view? Please do it in 1 word, 2 words, then 5, 7, 12, 18, 25, 50. All right. So this is now taking content and personalizing the content to answer a question, but there's content behind the content. All right. So again, if you're a CEO, you could do this. Type in the information about your competitive CEOs. You can actually study how they might think, but be careful what questions you ask it. All right, so let's see what it does. And in this case, I want it to really think about this. I'm going to actually add, okay, and then see what would Elon say. And we could also say, what would Trump say? What would Putin say? And again, I'm just going to say Elon. I'm not giving it a perspective about Elon, just general. All right. And I want it to think. So literally, I took a lot of time to explain all this. But if you know what you're doing, you could have just said this. When you do that, it loads this stuff into memory as context. So it goes, okay, this person just searched for, Trump stuff. And I gave them a bunch of information. And now it looks like they're going to ask a related question, right? And they all do this differently. But Grok is for thinkers, definitely. So this thing does something unbelievable, right? So it's thinking. If you haven't seen this, you're going to be wowed. If you have seen this, watch again. So it starts with, I'm trying to think about this. Bold. Democrats might view it as divisive or alarming. And that's right. That's exactly how it was looked at. So how do we have this group that's like, they see the same thing? They're like, look, that's bold, that's visionary. And then there's another group that goes, that's reckless, that's dangerous. This is where the divide is. If you have two people looking at the same thing and one of them goes, I love this, and the other one goes, oh, fuck, this is bad, it doesn't make for, good communications, right? He might comment like insightful and cheeky, right? In the economic aspects, which is basically how he comes at things. He's very pragmatic, right? So for Republicans, inspiring, bold vision, strong leadership for America's future. This is the stuff people would sit around in the room and talk about putting in the newspaper the next day. Decisive action to restore American greatness now. A clear, unapologetic plan to put America first and fix our problems. Bold, unapologetic, blah, blah, blah. 25 words. Republicans see Trump's address as a rallying cry for bold, decisive leadership to tackle America's challenges head on and restore the nation's greatness and prosperity. All right. Republicans view Trump's speech as powerful, blah, 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 outlining a bold vision, strength, prosperity, and pride, decisive challenges. All right. So now the crazy thing is I could turn around and go, make each of these a tweet, go, and then actually get AI to send them. Right. So this is just moving so fast, but it's the same thing in a business. So for Elon, I skipped the Democrats. All right. Alarming. So from a behavioral analytics perspective, what I told this things to do is to be an expert in this. If I had just asked it generally this question, it wouldn't have given such a good answer. All right. You'd have to try it in a separate thread. But on the one hand, this is so divisive, right? We've got inspiring bold vision, and on the Democratic side, alarming divisive rhetoric. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy that there's a huge group of Americans that are like, this is amazing, and there's a huge group that go, this is dangerous for America's future? It amazes me that the view is so divisive. But again, I really think that there's a big group of Democrats that are like, okay, I'm done with Democrats and I'm moving. And then there's a bunch of Republicans that were kind of sitting around and going, yeah, I'm kind of a Republican. And now they're like in the boat. So, yeah. And then let's see what Elon said. One word: intriguing, bold moves, disruptive. Yes. So this is where I'm coming at. Generative government, right? Innovative approach. The need for radical efficiency. As someone focused on innovation, I appreciate the bold steps. All right, so what I want to do is I want to say, first, question one, how would, let's say, let's use Robin Williams. Bless his soul, rest in peace. Love you, brother. I went through a hard time in 2010. Anyway, how would Robin Williams perceive the event if making fun of both sides? And then question two is Q2 is how do you think Elon is using Grok 3 inside the government to turn the United States of America into the first generative government in the history of the world? All right. Let's see what happens. So last time I thought for 15 seconds. These aren't terribly complicated, but actually I'm going to do a deep search on this one. I wanted to really go get a lot of extra data. All right. Okay. So this is another thing. If you do any kind of sales or marketing, you can absolutely profile your customer this way, not in an evil way, and like a let me really, really, really understand in extreme depth. Because the best people that connect with customers know their customers so well, their customers love them. That's the idea of a beautifully innovative product, is that when people see it and they use it, when they see it, they go, that looks awesome. And then when they use it, they go, that was awesome. And they tell other people about it. So with deep search, Grok is doing its thing. And let's see what's going to happen. Imagining Williams satire. That's nuts. So one of the hardest things over the past 2 years is to get AI to be funny, like genuinely funny every time. And it takes a little bit of programming usually, but if the AI can reference comedians and you can kind of call those, I mean, it's almost like you're summoning the soul of, you know, you basically if you have somebody's profile information, if we thought there was profile information with just like your street address and demographics, this is what's inside your head. This is another level. All right, so it completed it and it looked at 20 web pages. Okay, using satire, research suggests to enhance is using it. It does suggest that. All right, so first, Robin Williams' perception. I'm just going to be quiet to read this. Roasted both sides. Let's please give me. So one, please tell me 5 jokes Robin W. would say. And then let's see what this says. Seems to be leveraging Grok. Yeah, see, this is it right there. That's shit. What happened? What did I do? Okay. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. Yeah. I could see Robin say that. Sure. Yeah. Here we go. Democrats are saying Trump's speech is the most dangerous thing since sliced bread. I don't do a very good Robin Williams. Hey, he's loud. Hey, Democrats are saying, I can't do it. Trump's speech is the most dangerous thing since sliced bread. But they said that about his first term and the world didn't end. Maybe they're crying wolf again. That's actually funny. Oh my God. Trump gives us, let's see what it says. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. Oh, no wonder that's, okay. So, Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the man who can make any word sound like it has 3 syllables. Tariffs. Tariffs are bad unless they're good for me. And then the both sides. It's like a high school graduation where half the audience is proud and the other half is embarrassed. Politicians are like, that's a good one. Yep, that's the one I relate most to, I think. Most politicians, but I think this one's very different. They should be changed frequently for the same reasons because they're full of crap, right? So funny. All right, so Grok 3. So this I don't need anymore. Yep. Yep. Exactly. There we go. Yep. So pretty incredible, right? Pretty incredible. So you basically have an ability to do a full-on behavior analysis in ways that have never, ever been done before. Ever. And at a scale that's unprecedented and at a cost that's pennies on the dollar. Why do I feel like a light just went out? Oh, wow. Okay. So I've been going about an hour. I was hoping to get it done a lot easier and faster than that, but it was a failure on my part. However, I think we accomplished the goal for tonight. Um, I think to close, honestly, I'm not sure. I wonder, there's one other thing. Let me look. Yeah, let's see. Who was likely to have written Trump's speech tonight? Also, yes or no question. Do you have the whole transcript? Nope, I didn't mean to do deep search. Well, yeah, maybe I did. Here we go. So it clarifies the request for itself. That is one of the most important things. It goes through a first principles process and it goes, all right, to find the truth about this, I need to get clear in my head about what the request is. And then it starts doing its thing. So it's basically improving the quality of its input in a first step. And then it goes, okay, this I know the quality, so I'm going to give you back something awesome. It's a true Tesla experience. Ross Worthington. Who is Ross Worthington? Um, hmm. Wow. Who is Ross? Wow. Who is this guy? Newt Gingrich. Mentioned in Axios. 100 minutes. Largest in history. Supporting evidence. Who is Ross? Tell me about Ross. Give me a short bio and how he knows Trump. All right, this could just be analyst report or studying your competition. And I'm gonna shut this thing down here. Yeah, it was from Newt Gingrich. Okay. All right, you're done. You graduated from Brown University. Huh. Hmm. I'm very curious. Ross Worthington. That's the guy, huh? Not what I thought. I don't think it's this guy. Ross Worthington. Hmm. Wow. Nothing. Interesting. All right. Well, huh. So as I'm closing out, I think this speech was written with AI. Um, I believe. So, what are the top 10 emotions Trump was trying to portray? What are the top 10 examples of him communicating and connecting with people emotionally? All right. I just wanted to think about this, and this will be the last one. So, the crazy thing is, with generative AI in government, we could have started this way. We could have started with the American people as a target audience and actually planned the speech this way instead of deducing it, if that makes sense. Again, this is just an example. I think not only is there generative government now, but we've got generative citizens. And that was one of the key things. You see the features of where Grok exists now. You can ask any tweet more about that tweet with Grok. And I believe he did put money into this to protect free speech. I do. We got to understand the algorithms, but the reason you would put a feature right there as a next click, I mean, people think through this all the time, is you want somebody to be able to dive deep in one click. Is that bullshit or not? What do two different sides see of it? Give me the multiple viewpoints. So, all right, let's do this, and then I'm shutting down. I like how you can also go look at the web pages here. It's nice. I think, the emotions of Donald Trump. This is very interesting. AP News, Time. It's actually a pretty good blend. Actually, a lot of it leans left. Looks like. It'll be interesting to see. I could have biased it emotionally. Okay. Triumph. Yes. Defiance, determination, patriotism, urgency, confidence, anger, hope, empowerment, and vindication. Absolutely all those. So you could have told this thing, here's all the information we produced in the past 45 days. Use these 10 things and write a speech. It would have done pretty good in about 30 seconds. Touting election victory. Yep. Yeah, this was true. It was a great point. Yeah, it's just crazy. So now we have generative citizens and a generative government, and X is going to grow like crazy. It's already happening. This is very interesting. I'm very curious. I'm gonna have to go look at that. But yeah, quite the day. Quite the day. Wow. All right. Good night, everyone, or good morning. Man, it's still going on in the middle of the night. So crazy. All right, I'm done with the middle of the night. So time to get some sleep. I'll have a new show up tomorrow for the daytime. And thank you for listening. Please subscribe. Tell others about it if you found this helpful. And I'm gonna have to figure out AB is out. I don't know, some kind of outro. All right. Good night, everyone.